The terror of this tornado that ran right through this town, pretty much from overhead all the way across from where we are right now, scared a lot of people, and it will always be a sound that many remember. Not a single story has been published in the media regarding this case since November 4th of 2013. That's just 2 weeks after Dwan Walker was killed in this parking lot on that October night. Nick and Mimi, when you think of collective bargaining agreements involving schools, you think of teachers and you think of students. But what about the food service workers or even the janitors or maybe even those folks that drive the big yellow school buses behind us? That brings to the forefront a major issue that will have a big-time ripple effect among the rank-and-file police officers ranging from South Beloit all the way down to Winnebago. One simple question: who's in charge? I'm sorry to interrupt your forecast for a second, but I got to explain to you. We got our logos, I got it on my jacket, the mic flag, but the real reason we're interrupting your show is because of this document. We got 71 of those kinds of voicemails. 71. The problem is when you talk like that on a voicemail, it goes to this lovely woman right here. This should be a good matchup between two teams that have been here before. Stillman Valley going for its 5th state championship in school history. While SJO, the Spartans, they've been here so many times before in the state finals level. 0 for 4 trying to get it done on this 5th try. And welcome back. Matt Rodewald with you, joined by Edgy Tim O'Halloran, Mike Helfgott of the Chicago Tribune, and Kevin Schmidt from the Daily Herald. All right, let's go on to the debate part of our show. Let's start right with 7A, which jumps out at you right up north. We start this morning with an update on a story that we first brought you on Monday. Teenage girls, victims of sexual, physical, and mental abuse, allegedly inside Rock River Academy. They claim that they're still suffering, and this all stemming from our investigation of the facility, which is set to close in April. Well, maybe 8 is enough for a Janesville man who was arrested for another DUI. Then again, maybe not. Call it unthinkable, but a man is behind bars this morning after Ogle County police say that he stole $1,000 from the Grubstakers restaurant on the night the restaurant was flattened by an EF4 tornado back in April. Police are now saying that the balloon that they found at Jefferson High School was not filled with heroin after all.
Eyewitness News reporter Matt Rodewald focuses on a police chief in the hot seat.
Today,
uncomfortable, fidgety, and at times evasive.
He has no reason that you are aware of to misstate what he heard that night, does he?
You'd have to ask him.
Okay, we will.
Rockford Police Chief Chet Epperson's long-anticipated day on the stand finally happened on Monday before the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners. Despite the circus-like atmosphere with a packed house and a small hearing room downtown, the union's attorneys didn't waste any time getting down to business.
Mr. Johnson said to you, the police are trying to come in my house and I don't know why. Is that right? Did you make that statement to you?
You know, I don't remember that statement. What I recall is that there was an officer at his door that was threatening to kick in his door.
The hearing centers around an October night in 2013 when former Rockford NAACP President Lloyd Johnston called Epperson as officers were making a well-being check on his home. The union says Epperson interfered with those officers.
You said what? Don't let them in. That's what you said, isn't it?
That's exactly right.
And knowing that the police are there attempting to get a citizen's consent, you interfered with your officer's ability to get that consent, didn't you?
That's not true.
Facing more than 2 hours of initial questioning from the union's attorneys, Epperson testified that he was unaware of the circumstances with Johnston when his cell phone rang that night.
You had absolutely no information relating to any aspect of this matter, did you?
The officers simply could have kicked in the door that evening.
The officers...
They had exigent circumstances, kick in the door, we wouldn't be here today.
Epperson's justification is simple: no harm, no foul.
I made an executive decision as chief of police.
You made an executive...
Just a moment. Officers and Mr. Johnston. That was the fairest thing to do.
Eyewitness News anchor Matt Rodewald shows us the emotion of budget cut angst.
People with epilepsy are the most vulnerable in our state.
Right.
And I don't see how it's going to save money by having them go to the emergency rooms and not have the medicine that they need. They lose their jobs.
It's a confrontation like this with Governor Bruce Rauner that show you exactly how difficult the budget strains are in Illinois. She wants to know why the rug was pulled out from under her at the Epilepsy Foundation after being promised just a 2% cut.
I have a hard time trusting that he's going to keep his word when that's what he did.
We'd have to cut spending 7% every year for us to get to a true balanced budget. Now that's impossible to do. What the governor is just trying to do right now is to cut 2%, and look how much pain we have.
Part of a dizzy 17-county tour this week, Rauner was in Rockford on Wednesday to tout his economic and job growth plan.
We need a strong economy to grow our middle class.
But complicated change isn't easy, and social service groups are feeling the heat.
If you're going to talk cost effective, I think you have to look at our program, and it is cost effective to pay us to do things for people with epilepsy. We have 25 counties, and the impact of that is going to be so negative.
Some of these cuts make sense, some of them don't, and he understands that.
Some of the cuts don't have to be so big, and some of the other cuts don't even have to happen at all. So by July, we'll really know. My goal is by July that we'll know kind of where we're at.